Mr. Shakur and Mr. Suge Knight and a gang of their gangster friends stomped out their rival in the lobby of the MGM Grand. My father was gaming commissioner back then, and he lost his job because of those vile thugs. If there's any ruckus on the opening night of Inferno, it'll be the last time Empire sets foot on the Strip.
Wow, man, I just remember that scene like it was yesterday. Had to be. Oh my gosh, I mean. Granted, I did do the first 2 seasons of Empire. That should be noted.
Right.
That should be. Somebody should recognize.
Somebody should say that.
And until that season, that this beautiful woman made her appearance, I was voted as probably the sexiest cameo on Empire.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Until our next guest came in and played the role of Charlotte.
But no, I didn't play sexy. You got sexy. I played like conservative, racist. Sarah Palin.
That's what you played, right? Eva Longoria, ladies and gentlemen. Conservative, racist. Way to start off the conversation.
That was my character.
Oh, that was your character.
That was my character. I was like, wait. I played this really not nice conservative politician in Vegas, in Arizona.
Was Sarah it
wasn't my inspiration?
No, okay.
No, it was actually the creator. I was like, how is she going to dress? I was so excited. I want a cookies wardrobe.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, and the writer goes, I was thinking like Sarah Palin, like those suits, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, but Sarah Palin be fly. She looks fly in her
suits. They made a porn off her.
They did?
Yeah,
what?
Banging Palin or something like that.
No.
And Palin. I don't know.
Lisa Ann played her.
Really? You know the actress that played the porn role?
I know them all.
Okay. Eva Longoria is back on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Eva, I was going to pull up a clip from our last conversation. You probably don't remember. Do you remember the conversation? You, Kate Hudson?
I remember this. It wasn't my conversation to start. It was Kate Hudson's conversation. Yeah. I walked in on it, and y'all were talking about some heavy stuff.
Yeah, heavy.
We're talking about penis.
That could be heavy.
Hey, you didn't hesitate to jump in on the combo, though.
I walked in. I was like, "What?"
That's great. What was it like for you on Empire? I know you're not on Empire anymore, but wasn't it a great experience?
It was. It's fun. You know what? Terrence has been a friend of mine for 20 years, and so he's like, "Hey, come do this part," and I go, "Great," and I said yes before I even knew what I was getting into, because then it was like cut to I'm on a roof in Chicago and it's snowing and it's 4 a.m. and I'm like, why did I say yes? I want to go to bed. But no, you know what? I'm a fan of the show, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
You worked on Blackish too.
I directed Blackish.
You directed Blackish.
I'm doing it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, directing Blackish again.
That's big. Anthony Anderson is a good friend of mine.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to do it. You know, I've been directing a lot of TV now. I did Jane the Virgin and Blackish. I'm doing The Mick this year. And when I look at the landscape of television, I was like, I want to direct Blackish, and that's a storytelling that I understand as a minority, as a Hispanic, as a woman. Tracee Ellis Ross was amazing, and I directed right after she won the Golden Globes. It was just a real treat to be on that show. He's so talented,
isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, the whole cast is.
Yeah, the kids. Oh, Lawrence Fishburne is the coolest cat in the world. Yeah. He's like, all right, baby. I'm like, Lawrence, you got to stand over here. Okay, all right. He was amazing.
Yeah. You mentioned women and minorities. Will you executive produce another show?
Yeah.
I know the last time we were here, we talked about Devious Maids. I was just a huge fan of it, and I thought it was smart how you were able to incorporate such talented people. You brought in Susan Lucci. Like, you just did so much with the show.
It was also the first show with 4 Latina leads, so it was very, very groundbreaking. And I'm definitely still producing. I produced Telenovela, which was an all Latino cast as well, and we're working on a lot of stuff now. Still, you know, we have a film at HBO about the first Mexican American lawyer during the civil rights movement who argued in front of the Supreme Court. And,
wow!
Yeah, it was right at the same time of Brown versus Board of Education. It was about a week before it, and nobody heard of this case because Brown versus Board of Education came right after that, and so it was like buried. And it's just this great story for our community. And you know, a lot of people don't know Brown versus Board of Education won because there was precedent on a Hispanic case in Westminster, California, where they wouldn't let Latino kids into this school in Orange County, and it was the first case that was won. And so Brown Burr's Board of Education used that case to say, you see, you changed the law over there, so you got to change it over here. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you for telling us, schooled us real quick.
Yeah.
You know what? So this conversation now is lending me to, I want to know how you feel about DACA and the Dreamers and just everything that has to do with minorities in general right now for our social landscape.
Yeah, you know, it's so hard, the political landscape of our country right now. It's divisive, it's divided, it's messy, it's loud, it's noisy, and because it's so noisy, things get lost. And I think a lot of people are being discouraged at the process, and I just don't want that to happen, especially for minorities. You know, you don't want them to go, well, my vote didn't count last election, so why am I going to vote now? And this is when we need people to step up even more in the civic process. But in regards to DACA, I mean, it's just not who America is, to turn our backs on these children who came here through no fault of their own. Right. They never broke the law. They, you know, are contributing to society. They are not criminals. They're just good people who have never even been to their home country, don't even remember their home country. So for me, it's not even a political issue. It's a moral issue. Of who we are. Yeah. It's also an economic issue. I mean, if you kick out all of these people all of a sudden, it's going to harm, you know, we can't deny that we have industries fully dependent on immigrant labor in our country. And so it's messy and not great. I was just, you know, so much happens in the news politically. I can't even keep up.
It's hard to keep up, man.
I can't even keep up. So we were here. I was in the building, and somebody's like, "Did you hear Ann Coulter this morning?" So now Ann Coulter's going against Trump. I'm like, wait, she was pro-Trump. Now she's against Trump, and I'm so confused. I don't know who's on whose team anymore.
Yeah. It's like the hood. You know what I mean? You know, you switch teams. Like whoever's winning. The biggest drug dealer gets the biggest team. Wow. It's like watching soap operas, though.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what it's like.
You couldn't write this, though.
You couldn't write it. You could turn it off this week, pick it back up next. You know about soap operas.
I do know
You know,
about
pick
soap
it back up next week. You know, DB, go
I was just curious about going back to directing, because I know a lot of actors have transitioned into directing, Tom Hanks and plenty of other people, but the director, being that they look at them as, you know, the coach or the captain of whatever project they're working on, did you go to school for it, or did you just feel one day like, I have the confidence that I know I can pull this off?
Yeah, no, I actually, I've always been a director-producer before I was an actor, like in my mind. I like telling people what to do, and I'm really good at it.
I got you.
Something sexy about that.
Hey, no, you know what? But honestly, like I when I started acting, I was still very aware of where the cameras went, where the lights were, what lenses they were using, and I used Desperate Housewives as my film school. So I just paid attention. I asked questions. I was very curious, and then the first time I directed, I was scared. I was so scared. I was scared shitless, but I was super prepared. But I didn't let anybody know. I just acted like I knew what I was doing. And then people knew what I was doing. And I didn't know a lot of terminology when I started. Like I would tell a cinematographer, I go, I just want it to go, I want the shot to go voop. I want it to go voop. And he goes, oh, okay, you want to hide the push and the zoom. You want to hide the zoom and the push. And I said, yes. So then the next time I would go on set, and I'd be like, hey, can you hide the zoom and the push? And they go, ooh, you know what you're talking about. I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. I didn't know what I was talking about, but you just learn it and you pick it up. And I'm really good at it. And I wish more women had confidence in themselves to direct, because very, very few women direct.
Eva Longoria is here, man. I want to open up the phone lines and talk about Kiss This for MBC.
Yeah, MBC is in metastatic breast cancer.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that up next.
Okay.
Sway in the morning, Shade 45.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.